Managed services, IT repair. Now, what do I need? Hi, I'm Woody Huffines. I'm the Nerds to Go in McKinney and Frisco, Texas, and this is Tech for the Untechnical. One of the big questions that you have as a non-technical person when you're talking to a technical person like me is knowing what it is that you need and then knowing what it is that you got. And IT is, whether it's a computer or a laptop computer, or if it's a cell phone or a home network or a business network or a VPN, or well, any number of things. There's a lot of complexity there that most people don't understand, they don't have a handle on, and that makes it difficult for us to explain what the problem might be and for you to ask for what you might need. Take, for example, your yard. If you were looking for a lawn care company, it'd be pretty easy for you to go out in the front yard and go, hey, the grass is brown, there's a bunch of weeds, and there's bare spots. I might need a lawn care company. You know what the problem is. And then when the lawn care company shows up, after they've been there for a couple of months, you go out and you say, hey, the grass is green, there aren't any bare spots, the weeds are gone. I got what I paid for. From an IT perspective, it's a lot more difficult to get there because most of the time, if you're not a technical person, you don't really know what you need or what the risks are or what the problems are that you're having with your computer, number one. Number two, you might not know where you can get to. You know what a good yard looks like. You know what you want in a yard. But if you don't have a bigger vision for what you could get out of your computer, you might not know what your computer can do for you, both in your home or in your small business. So that complexity, the ties of those two things, make it difficult sometimes for the IT people, like me, to explain to the non-IT people, like you, about what it is that the IT can do for you, should do for you. And this came up to do this YouTube video today because SolarWinds, which is an MSP, and we'll talk about MSP here in a minute. The SolarWinds is an MSP, and they got hacked. And in the process of them getting hacked, a lot of government agencies and very large corporations are now at risk for having malware installed on their computer because an MSP got hacked. So what's an MSP? An MSP, or managed service provider, is someone that provides outsourced IT services over a wide range of things. It can be some backups, it can be network management, it can be hard drive management, it can be desktop management, managing the updates and the patches for the computers, and all these things that you outsource because you don't necessarily have the resources as a small business or certainly as a home to have an IT department. So you outsource the IT department for people to take care of those things. Now in the SolarWinds, and if you've been paying attention to the news, I mean, I read this technical stuff all the time. SolarWinds got hacked, and the Computer Infrastructure Security Agency and all of the people that are involved in computer security, it's been a big topic this week. So SolarWinds has a management console where every computer has that's under management has a little console application that runs on it, so that the home office, the outsourced IT MSP provider, can come in and look to see what the hard drive health is and how much the network's being utilized and what the state of the machine is and what's on the machine and what needs to be backed up and what needs to be updated and all this stuff. That's a remote management tool, which is what MSP does in the main, is remotely manage your IT services. In the SolarWinds case, SolarWinds had a development server. It's a server where they do their development, where they do the design of their applications. Their development server got hacked. So the bad guys, and in this case it was an APT, bad actors. APT is Advanced Persistent Threat. In this case they think it was Cozy Bear, which is one of the cute names. They got some of these cutest names for these people that are in Russia and the Ukraine and North Korea that are hacking computers. A Cozy Bear. That sounds all warm and fuzzy, like Captain Kangaroo had Cozy Bear on this morning. Anyway, it looks like Cozy Bear, which is a Russian Advanced Persistent Threat, was able to hack into their development server. So as they were developing the software that they would subsequently download out to the people that had computers that they managed, that download that they used to manage your software or manage your desktop got hacked. And it's called a supply chain hack because they hacked the vendor. Then the vendor rolls out that console application that's going to help you manage your machine. And the fact that the Russian bad guys hacked the server that develops the actual software that gets installed on your machine, it's called a supply chain attack. which got me to thinking about how do you articulate to your customers, or how do I articulate to my customers, what the value is of an MSP, and how do you balance the risk from an MSP? And if you're doing all of this computer stuff, how do I explain to you what the value is of the MSP, given that this is another way for you to have risk? So there's two kinds of risks here. There's the risk that you aren't patched so that somebody can attack your computer, and then there's the risk that you manage your services from somebody else. They get hacked and then turn around and you get hacked because they got hacked. Well, the value of having an MSP is that the MSP can make sure that your computers are updated. You know, we've got the ability, if somebody's in an MSP program with us, is we can look at your hard drive, and if your hard drive is about to fail, or you're having trouble with the printer, or you're having trouble with your network, we're able to monitor those problems and get ahead of them. So you don't come in Monday morning and find out that none of your printers work. You can maybe find out the Thursday before that there's a problem developing that can then get headed off before it becomes a problem. And that's part of the value of having a managed service provider to come in and do your IT, because they can manage and monitor the things that are going on your network or on your computer remotely. But then the problem is, if they get hacked, if your MSP gets hacked, you may get hacked because they got hacked. So how do you balance that threat? Well, the first thing is to recognize that the threat across the board, from malware attacks, denial of service attacks, phishing attacks, the threat's getting bigger and bigger and bigger because there's more and more money to be had by people hacking your computer. But the problem is, if you go with the SolarWinds, and SolarWinds is an international vendor that does great work. They've got a super dashboard. They've got really good products. But because they're very popular and they do high-level government agencies and Fortune 500 companies, they are an excellent target for the bad guys to attack from a supply chain attack. In other words, if I'm a bad guy and I can get into SolarWinds' production system, if I can get into the software that they are going to go put on every computer that they manage in the Department of Homeland Security and Department of Commerce and the Department of Transportation, and then that piece of software that I hacked at the MSP gets pushed out to all these other computers, that's a great target as a bad guy. So if you have a really big company that uses a lot of high-level people that they deal with, then that becomes a very big target for the bad guys to try to hack them, because they can get into high-value targets. So, do you pick Bubba's Managed Services down the street? Well, that's a different kind of risk. The APT bad guys, whether it's Cozy Bear or the North Koreans or whoever, they're probably not going after Bubba's MSP down the street from you. They're probably not attacking those guys. But then you have to worry about, does Bubba's MSP have a robust enough system and robust enough security themselves to keep you from getting an update that everybody knows about, that's a common update, like some of the RDC and some of the remote service attacks that have happened in the last 6 months, where something that's a vulnerability in Windows, they're not patched and they're not up to date, so they get hacked, so in turn you get hacked. So how do you balance that risk? How do you go from, do I want a multinational big name MSP, or do I want the guy down the street? The guy down the street's probably not a huge target, but he may miss the easy stuff, and the really big company may be a great target because the bad guys want to go after them so they can get into the Department of Commerce and the Department of Homeland Security. So how do you balance those things? From my perspective, part of that comes down to, what do you need? If you're a small business or a home, and we've got MSP, we offer MSP solutions to home, that maybe what you need, everybody needs, is a backup and a good antivirus and some endpoint protection to protect you from phishing. And that's a pretty good basic package that everybody needs. And it's relatively easy to manage those things and look at those things. If you're a larger company, or you have a VPN, or you have people working from home, or you work from home for a company, then your network is bigger. We've talked about your attack surface is bigger. Here's a link to a video. You need to worry about that larger attack surface thing. So at the end of the day, given that you have a lot of complexity, and unlike your yard care or your yard maintenance, you really don't know what you need, and after it's been, quote, done, you don't know what you got because you didn't understand the IT infrastructure the way you understand your grass. The biggest thing that you need is you need a managed service provider that does what I would term business service. It's a business service provider. What we try to do, for example, is answer the mail for what it is that your business or your home needs, as opposed to doing the latest, greatest, coolest thing that has a whole bunch of artificial intelligence stuff that you may or may not need, because anytime you add complexity to the system, you add vulnerabilities. So I think really what the answer is, if you're going to get IT services, you're going to get business service plan or a managed service plan, either for your home or your small business, is you need to balance what you need with what's available. Because I mean, I can certainly come in and make sure that you have a 24/7 help desk support and a network operations center that monitors your network 24/7, and you can call if you got a problem with that. If all you do at home is browse the internet and look at your email, you probably don't want to spend $100 a month to have a 24/7 network operations center on backup for you to get answers from. Second part of this is, and it's what I used to call cat dead rat. When I was managing an IT department, I talked to my guys about cat dead rat, because IT people deliver products to their customers for the same reason that your cat puts a dead rat on your pillow, because they think it's cool. They think you'll think it's cool. So the IT guys come out and they go, oh yeah, here's what we're going to do. We're going to redesign your web page. You're like, I don't want my web page redesigned. It works fine. Oh yeah, but now we've got a cascading style sheet with a vector analysis artificial. Dude, I just want people to be able to look up my phone number. So in this complex IT environment that we're in, and the managed services environment, or as I would put it, the business services environment, the key is to get somebody that's willing to spend some time with you to talk about what your actual risks are, to talk about what things that you need to protect your home or your small business from, and then put together a suite of products and monitoring services that give you the very best bang for your buck, that give you the capability that you need to protect you from the risks that you face. Because it's really easy to come in and say, we're going to put together an artificial intelligence endpoint security plan with, you know, I just need backup and some endpoint security. So remember, the IT business is, by its very nature, pretty complex. The second piece is, maybe you don't understand what you need, and after what you need gets done, it's kind of hard to verify that it got done. So what you need to do is provide a managed service provider or a business service provider that's going to come in and understand what your risk is and how best to mitigate that risk. So think about those things when you're looking at managed services to determine what you need. Is find somebody that can communicate with you about what your business need is, not what they want to sell you. What your business need is instead of what's really cool and cutting edge, because you may not need it, and you may not want to pay for it. I'm Woody Huffines. I'm the Nurse to Go in McKinney in Frisco, Texas. This is Tech for the Untechnical. If you have any questions about managed services or what kind of risks you face in your small business, send me an email, hit the comment below, mash the like button, share it with your friends, subscribe, you know all that stuff. We'll talk again soon.